The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. That's right, brothers and sisters. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you are invited. Of course, we're going into week 3. But don't worry, if you would like to enroll a new academite, a new enrollee, just send what? Matter of fact, don't send anything. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. We went into the creation of the universe, week 1. Week 2, we covered tracing the serpent's seed to prove to you the so-called gods or fallen angels still exist and rule on the earth. And we taught this week on how they were able to take power from Adam, right, our father, to eventually rule the world over the land of Nod. They became what? They became judges. They set up a satanic construct to destroy God's people. And these particular so-called gods, that's right, rule over all of the world's governments and or Gentile religions. Folks, there's nothing like the Academy on earth. I'm Elder Rawchaa of the Gathering of Christ Church, and I'll be there this Sunday to go into the promised seed. Be there. Now, how you doing, brothers and sisters? Blessings, blessings, blessings. Of course, each Friday, right before sundown, right before we go into the Sabbath is from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. I usually come on to give a quick update, give a few insights or whatever the case is before segueing over to Patreon. Well, today on Patreon, what we'll be going into, let me see, I made sure I sent the title to the production team over there. And today, what we will be discussing on Patreon is the culture shock between America and the Western world and Africa. There's a culture shock in between when we visit what the world has labeled, it's a bad word, a third world countries, okay? Countries that are controlled over neocolonialism, right? So I'm going to go into that on Patreon today, the culture shock between America and Africa. There's a lot going on when our people visit. It's one thing to visit the touristy areas, right? And usually you deal with the fascination, sensationalizing, going over and just, being a part of that, I would say history unparalleled. Being a part of your people, seeing so many of your people, right? Compared to going any other place in Africa, you see so much of your people, you're overwhelmed, and it's like, I feel home. But folks, there's some culture shocks that we need to discuss, all right? And we're going to go into that today. Okay, we're going to go into that today from an African standpoint. It's a sister who's online, and she breaks down what to expect if you were to go over there, okay, or choose to live over there, right? And there's a reason why a lot of people in Africa are desiring to take your place. They'd rather come over here, uh, not just because they don't like their place where they live, but more so it's the experience, the bright lights. People usually sensationalize or celebrate what's outside of them, okay? But another thing is there's a lot of things in America and in the Western world that's easier when it comes to getting access to things, right? Being able to have upward mobility when it comes to being able to travel freely in all these things without being impeded, robbed, or whatever the case is. A lot of gang related scenarios go on over there, tribal wars, division, and some seek to escape, you know, those tribal warfares over there, right? And some things that we might even take for granted. We fought for it. We built this country with our own hands. Weren't paid anything. So, and through that, the Most High has afforded us some luxuries that most people in other countries, you know, envy, right? To have, right, clean water. If your internet go out for a couple of seconds, you're screaming at someone over the phone, and that's normal to have utilities go out in other countries. You'll go into the countries and you'll see bottled water everywhere. It's happening like here in America now. It's sort of getting close to that. You go into other countries and it's like they'll tell you right out, hey, you're gonna deal with the bathroom for a long period of time if you drink this water, okay? So I'm going to talk about that and more. The culture shock between America and Africa on Patreon. You have to be a loyal Patreon member to discuss this. And of course, you'll have access with communicating with me either through the phone, Blog Talk, if it works this week, and Zoom. Okay? So we're going to talk about that. Now, jumping right in, what I'm going to discuss today, and thank you for your participation, all you do to help the church when it comes to the academy, the interactions on YouTube. It's fun, eye-opening, and the best, what I love about it all, it's the enjoyment of learning the Bible, right? Finding out things that we never thought the Bible, discussed or even gave us insight on, right? This book is something deep, okay? This book, the Bible, there's no other book on earth in comparison. And that's why I love the Academy and I love interacting with you all. And I wanted to talk about it today because today we're going to go into this. What I want to discuss is to give you an update for our week 3 Academy, okay? An update for week 3, okay? The promised seed of Abraham is what we'll be discussing, right? The promised seed of Abraham, showing you that there's a bloodline, a family, genetically linked directly from Adam all the way to the people in the earth today. And I can prove it beyond any shadow of a doubt that we're those people. Okay? Cain was at war against us. That's why he killed Abel. Cain, that's right, folks, the first king of Nod, pre-flood, was what you would call a top agent for Satan. He constructed cities. All of this, the technology we see today, Cain had access to. Okay? When it comes to violence, divide and conquer, killing, destroying, building walls and all that to divide others, right? All that started with Cain. Well, okay, thank you. I have it. I have it AC. Subsequent to that, hold on, let me move this out of the way. Subsequent to that, let me move this out of the way here. Subsequent to that, right? Nimrod on this side of the flood picked up where Cain left off. If the Most High did not destroy the earth through a flood, guess what? No flesh would have been saved. So then, after Cain and his cohorts were destroyed, the gods made their way over to this side of the flood. And I'm going to discuss that. And they began to set their sights on destroying Abraham. That's right. They set their sights on Abraham, the promised seed. Folks, we've been in this battle, what you see racially, since the beginning of earth. Since the beginning of time, we've been in this battle. The problem our people have is they don't realize that we're in what you would call a spiritual battle that works its way down on the lowest level to where we are, to where we be not understanding the full scope of God's plan. We don't even realize that it's not racism in of itself. That's the lowest level. That's what Satan and others would have you focus on. Someone just don't like you. No, it's spiritual. It's way deeper than, well, they don't like me because it's the color of my skin. And that's why I hate small conversations, be it men and women together, when they talk of minute things that really don't have any impact on their life when it comes, oh, there's colorism. I hate when I hear that. And the reason why is because we've been reduced to just looking at things on the surface and having that have an impact on our lives based on how we're viewed from the outside. I could care less. I could care less what anybody think concerning my skin color. You can think what you want as long as you don't touch me. Okay? You can think you can hate my black skin. You have the right to do so. But I know that I have the hue of Adam. Okay? I know God made us in his image. And this is why I hate when I hear colorism and all these others, because we're arguing on the surface, not realizing we're under. This is a spiritual war. And in this lesson, folks, in this lesson, week 3, Abraham, the promises of Abraham, I'm linking it all together in this Bible to prove to you who are this seed today and why racism, what they call racism, exists. And I'm going to also expose the lie coming from the Satanic Vatican, claiming that all people are equal, that there is no chosen people in the earth while we're suffering the curses of the chosen people. We're going to expose all of the lies of the enemy by using this Bible and prove that's right. We will prove that there's a promised seed on this earth and identify that these people according to God. Now, why I'm going over that, today before I segue over, I'm going to do something I've never done before in a while, probably here on YouTube. For those who have participated in the academy, whether in past academies or if you're in our current one, right? If you're in the current academy, even in past academies, I need y'all to come on, take about 2-3 minutes, and let us know and let the people know out there. What is it you found out within the academy you didn't know prior to the academy? What is it you found out in the academy that you knew nothing about? Okay, that shocked you, surprised you, or excited you. I'm going to do that today for you loyal YouTube followers and those who are subscribed. I'm going to put it in. I want to hear your feedback, right? What has been your experience, and what one thing in particular stood out that you've learned that you didn't know the Bible actually spoke about, right? And I'm gonna open you up for a second. I'm gonna open that up for a second. But before I go there, I'm also gonna share some information that I was able to get access to on the outside of the country when I traveled. Don't forget, I lived in Egypt for a while. I lived in the Greek islands, Europe, and there was a lot of records I ran into that I'm going to share in relation to this particular lesson we have, the promised seed. Some of you probably, brothers and sisters, don't know that in 1831, on papyrus papers, they found writings of Abraham in Egypt. All right? Now, some of these papyrus papers were made into books and are a part of Alexandria, Egypt's library. That's right. The library in Alexandria, Egypt is one of the more profound places when it comes to ancient archaeology and records from the old world. In 1831, they found a papyrus paper written about our forefather, Abraham. I'm going to reveal this information for the first time in the academy this coming Sunday. Also, it shows you that what? It shows that Abraham's father, Terah, was considered a prime minister right up under who? Right up under Nimrod. Nimrod appointed Abraham's father prime minister over his government. He was prime minister of the Chaldees and of Ur. And we're going to go into the governmental structure that was set up, why the Most High would have Abraham break free from the pagan satanic worships of his father. Okay? For the first time, we are going to present that, okay? And there's a reason why we were in Egypt. While we were in Egypt, Joseph, another name for Joseph amongst the Egyptians, under Egyptian antiquity, he's called Imhotep, okay? Don't try to resolve Egyptian history through Manethos, okay, altogether. There is some key information you can find in Manethos' accounts of history for Egypt, but you cannot utilize that because they intentionally flop the names of the kings and all of that, right? And time periods from which they ruled, so to eschew our people not relating ourselves to the Hyksos when our people, the children of Israel, ruled Egypt. Okay? So there's a reason why Joseph, the Israelites, and others, while we were in Egypt, we stressed on our children, Joseph and others, when the prophecy of our people leaving here happens, take my bones out of Egypt. Take my bones. Hey, let me show you here. Let me show you here. Right? I'm in Genesis right here before you. Genesis 50 and 25. Joseph, another name for Joseph is Imhotep. Okay? And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. Now, why would Joseph stress to his children, his family, that when we're delivered out of here to take my bones? He understood the satanic science amongst the priests of On, that they were preserving the DNA of their particular kings, pharaohs, the prestigious diplomats, that they were preserving themselves so that their DNA could be regenerated later once the technology catches up. So they were looking to mummify themselves to be what? That's right, to resurface later in time once the science began to, I would say, once the science reaches height in genetics, genetic engineering, and being able to clone and all the other things we see scientifically today. Well, we knew what they were planning. So Joseph said, listen, here's an oath. He will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from hence. Now, he knew the Egyptians were dealing with top satanic science. And this is all through the Bible, right? When you go to Exodus 13, let me get it real quick. Exodus 13, verse 19. Let me read it. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away hence with you. Right? So it's very important that we understand to honor the bodies, or I would say, the corpse of our loved ones. Not disrespect them by burning them, desecrating them, but burying them in the same honor and traditions of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because you don't know what happens when you donate your family's body to science. Okay? A lot of these so-called funeral homes and all that they have agreements with hospitals and all these other things. And here it is, you think you got, you think you got some ashes of your people, and you don't know where that body is. But I digress. That's a whole nother conversation. Go on. Old and New Testament. Let's go to Acts 7 real quick. Let's go to the book of Acts. Acts, the 7th chapter. Right? Acts 7 and 16 reads. And it says here, so Jacob, Yaiquab, our forefather, went down into Egypt and died, and he and our fathers, and were carried over into Shechem and laid in the sepulchre that Abraham brought for a sum of money, the sons of money of the sons of Emor, the father of Shechem. So we had an oath amongst our people that, hey, when our forefathers die, their bones go with us. The Egyptians were dealing with top satanic science, okay? Top genetic science that would lead to their own form of resurrection through, that's right, through science. This is why they mummified the bodies and all that, preserved the bodies and all that, folks, in hopes of being able to catch up one day scientifically to resurface these same people, right? When you go to Hebrews 11th chapter, listen to this. Hebrews 11. Let's go real quick. Hebrews 11 verse 22. You see how vast the Bible is, how strong and insightful it is when you look into it outside of the religious constructs, right? You'll never understand the depths of what's really in this Bible until you walk outside of these religions like mainstream Christianity and especially mainstream Islam. Islam, mainstream or not, right? Hebrews 11, verse 22. Let me read it. By faith, Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones. Take me out of here. So don't let no one trick you or deceive you into believing that what you do with your parents remains or your family remains doesn't matter. Well, God sees it all the same. None of this matters. No. Who knows what happens to these bodies when you walk away? Okay. And this is why I love the fact that Benjamin has a tradition that when they bury, when they see their people there, when they put their people in the ground, they take a shovel and they put the dirt over themselves. Okay. Right? And the faith of Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones. Now, here's something deep, folks, you probably didn't realize. There's a reason. Here's the reason, and this links directly to the assumption of Moses. Here's the reason God himself sent down Michael to contend for Moses' body. That's right, folks. That's right. Because Satan is the top, he's the architect. He's over these scientists. And they needed Moses' DNA. Listen to this. Check this out. The book of Jude, the first chapter. Jude 1 and 9 reads, "Yet Michael the archangel, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses." Look at this. Look at this. He disputed about the body of Moses. Right? So we know about Mount Hermon and all that when he looked into the homeland and to the promised land, that not Mount Hermon, the mountain that Moses was on the other side looking into the promised land, right? We know about that mountain, right? Where he was looking beyond Jordan into what? Into the promised land, right? And that the Most High said, well, you will not cross over due to your sin and disobedience. But guess what? I will allow you to see the land flowing with milk and honey. And then after that, Moses, he gave up the ghost. He died. His spirit went into the third heaven. And only his body was there on the mount. Right? Y'all know about this. Right? Y'all know about this. Now, did you know that after Moses' spirit left, that Satan, the devil, disputed about the body of Moses? Durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, the Lord rebuked thee. The Most High sent who? Christ sent Michael to guard over Moses' body. Satan was going to use Moses' body. And in the assumption of Moses, it goes into a lot of this, all of this, folks. The science we realize and understand in this world today is the plan they had since the time of the Egyptians. Cloning, using people's bodies, their genetics to make other people, reviving the ancient pharaohs and all these others as politicians and all that, folks. Let me tell you, fiction is more, more true than life. Okay? Yet, a lot of you didn't even know this was in the Bible. Yeah. So when I go into the Abraham seed tomorrow, folks, I'm surely going to go into the papyrus that was found in Egypt, 1831, to prove that everything the Bible states about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all that is historically sound. Because you can't say the Bible isn't true if on the papyrus papers in Egypt confirms our interactions with the high diplomats and leaders of Egypt in ancient times. See? Hope y'all seeing this. Terah, his father, the pagan, and folks, they were in a child sacrifice and all that. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm going to go into that this coming Sunday, but there was something special the Most High had amongst our people. We didn't deal with child sacrifice and all these other things for the sake of power. Okay? We didn't do none of those things. And the whole time, they were aimed towards destroying us, sacrificing our children. All of that, realizing why? Realizing that one day a promised seed would come through this lineage to help save the children of Israel, a prophet like unto Moses. This is why they target our young. Christ is that man. His name is Yeshua. And through the Holy Spirit, he has what? He has now brought forth throughout the heavens an awakening where it's not just one you must worry about. It's as many as believe in him. And this is why they're targeting the youth. This is why they're targeting the wombs of our women. This is why they talk stuff about women fatality while having children and all these others. Folks, they know we are the prophecy. We are the seed of Abraham. And if you don't know, guess what? Ask somebody. Come to that academy this coming Sunday where we break it down from the rooter to the tutor, folks. I'm going to tell you, I go into this Bible and see, the last thing a person would be concerned about is, right, in our time, is what happens to our body once we're gone, right? I'm dead anyway. Unless there's something greater. Unless our forefathers knew concerning that body what would happen in the future, right? In breaking down and understanding a resurrection. See, we understood that these bodies are important because these bodies will be made new. It was prophesied before this earth. It was written in the heavenly tables before this earth was made, folks. So, of course, Satan, who never had an original idea in his life, would try to mimic that using science, right? Preserve someone's DNA to bring it forth in the earth in its time, right? According to Satan's power. Okay? Science. And our forefathers who lived in Egypt, we seen the Egyptians tinkering with all types of stuff, folks. We seen the Egyptians tinkering with all types of stuff. Matter of fact, every time a plague happened, listen to me clearly, listen, every time our God naturally plagued the land, the Egyptian scientists, their doctors, would go into their labs and show that they could do it too. Huh? Laboratories? Well, look, we just turned water into blood, right? We was able to create lice and disease and all these other things too. Well, if your scientists of if the Egyptian scientists were able to do it back then, is it possible those same scientists have the technology to replicate and make diseases now. I digress. Go to historytimes.org. For the first time, I'm going into the papyrus papers of Abraham that was found in Egypt, 1831. For the first time in the academy, this was information I found years ago, but now must be revealed to the world. Okay? Go to historytimes.org. All right? Now, let's go. Before I go over the Patreon, right? There's the link for those who would like to come in through Zoom. I'll take about 1 or 2 Zooms before transitioning over. That's a shame. That's a shame in the world today. You can't even use the word transition without some negative thought or connotation connected to it, right? Now, there is the link to Zoom for those who would like to come in, right? There is the link. One moment. Okay, I had a missed call. That was important. So, all right. In the chat right here, right? In the chat, I'm going to put it up again here. There's a Zoom link, right? There's a Zoom link, and if you like to come in and tell us some of your experiences you had in the academy, as far as what did you realize or understand after participating in the academy? What do you understand now that you didn't before under mainstream religion? Under mainstream religion. Let's see who we have here. View. Okay. We have Christopher. Make sure if I bring you into Zoom, choose your device. Choose the audio for your device while coming in. Okay? Hey, Christopher, is your audio working? Okay, Christopher, can you hear me? Let me try this. Okay, Christopher, can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to have to let you go if you're not saying anything. All right, I'm going to have to let you go.
Shalom, Elder. Can you hear me?
All right, there you go. Yeah, I'm pressed for time, brother, because we have to go over to Patreon in a moment. How you doing, Chris? The floor is yours.
I'm doing good. Christopher, can you hear me? I'm doing good, sir. All I want to say is to, nice to meet you. I always love your lessons. I'm going to have to let you go. And
okay, can you please turn me off in the background, brother? It's bad broadcasting to be in two places at one time. People are trying to hear and understand.
Oh, I apologize. It's good now?
Yes. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good, Elder. Elder, I always say nice to meet you because I'm sorry, my English is not good, but I'm doing my best.
Where you from? Where you from?
Oh, I'm from Curacao, the island Curacao. It's the Dutch.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor. I need you to get closer to your microphone, please.
Okay. Is it good now?
Okay, go on. I'm listening.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Otherwise, I only wanted to
Where are
meet
you
you
from? Where
before.
are you from, sir?
From Curacao.
From where?
Curacao is island near Venezuela.
Okay, good.
It's
All right, great.
it's a Dutch Caribbean.
Okay, I think that's a tribe of Asher. All right, talk to me. Have you been to the academy? Because I'm only fielding questions for those who are giving me some insight of what they've learned as a as a participant within the academy.
No, I'm not in the academy. I have problems, for example, about financial pay, and also I don't have the type of visa. I don't have those for now.
Okay, well I'll let you say what you have to say so that I can get in because this is an academy update. I thought I
Okay.
emphasized that. You probably came in late, but go on. What would you like to say? It's nice to meet you too, brother. Nice to meet
No,
you too. Go ahead.
all I want to say, I appreciate your lessons, Elder. You saved me, Elder. I don't want to say. All I want to thank you very much. You saved me a lot of things I need to fix.
Oh,
So yes, that's what I want to say. All I was, nice to meet you, and thank you for Mosai sending you. So I'm happy. I'm happy to I can finally talk to you.
well, bless you, brother, and thank you. And spread the word. The children of Israel is back. Welcome to the fold.
Yes, yes.
Shalom, my brother.
And yeah, before I go, before I have a question before I go.
Yeah, what is your question?
You say I'm from Asher, but I don't think I'm from Asher. And the reason I'm saying this because most blacks here came from the descendants of slave ships. So most
Oh, so you
us,
okay? So you're a descendant from the slave ships that went to the area.
yes. So
Okay.
I might be Benjamin or Levi or Judah. I don't know which I am. So that's why I'm asking.
Well, it depends on whether or not you can find out uh, from whence your forefathers came from, what coast, and for what tribe they came from. And once you do that, there's a book called Hebrewism in West Africa. Right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right? Like if you
I'm gonna
from
take
like,
those.
like for instance, if you are Ashanti, they're Benjamin. Right? So
Oh,
you're right. So there's ways of actually figuring it out. If you figuring this out, if you can now find out the slave ships your forefathers came from, and from what areas they were taken. All right.
oh, okay. Understood. Understood. Thank you, Elder. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, bless you.
Shalom, Elder. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom. Good question. It ended up. You can let yourself out, my brother.
Yes.
You can let yourself out. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, this ended up being almost an academy question anyway, right? All right, who else we have here before I move over here? Let's see who else we have. All right, we have. I'll take two more. Then we have to go over. I have to do 1 hour of 1 hour of Patreon. Excuse me. Let's see. We have Alan Barnes. Alan, please make sure I'm not playing in the background, number one. And please unmute yourself and choose the audio for your device while coming in. Alan Barnes, my brother. Shalom, my brother.
Shalom, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, my brother. My brother from the same mother. I see you. I see you. You're holding your sack strong. Come on, man. What you doing?
Oh, when the saints go marching in.
How you doing, sir?
A soprano sax, new one. I'm
Oh,
doing all right. The academy is very well good. I'm
yeah.
learning something all the time. It's never the same.
Yeah, but what I wanted people to know in particular, what is it you learned in the academy that you didn't know prior to it? Did you find out something that surprised you, or gave you more insight opposed to what you can normally get in a Christian church? And if so, pick out one thing.
That we have to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. And the laws are not done away with.
Okay, there you go. The importance of the law. Without law, there's chaos.
And there's plenty of chaos out there. Plenty of
Exactly.
it. As we can see
Exactly.
in the news. I'm looking at Shabbat. I'm like, what you talking about, Willis? It's crazy. It's crazy.
All right, brother. Well, since you got your little sax there, give us about 1 minute or something. Let me hear what you're working with. Hey, brother, I can't hear anything.
Can't hear nothing? Let
No,
me see. Can you hear something now?
I can hear you. There you go. Oh, give it up.
I never played this in my life with this guy.
When the saints come marching in, brother. Thank you, and I'll see you on the other side when we go into our Patreon, our Patreon stream. Okay.
Barakatah. Shabbat Shalom.
Barakatah Ahaya by Hashem Yeshaya Wa Rawak. My brother. Island Barnes, give it up. You can let yourself out. The promised seed this coming Sunday in the Academy. You don't want to miss it. And of course, we're going into the mystery papers of the papyrus, proving the writings that were left with our forefathers Abram in Egypt. Hey, folks, they were found in Egypt in 1833. And it confirms everything the Bible states concerning our interaction with the Egyptians. The Egyptians were dealing with all types of evil wickedness. And I'm talking about even when it comes to perverted sexual behaviors. The majority of the evil you see in America today, folks, was actually perfected in Egypt. And even when you speak to these so-called Egyptologists and others, they try to shy away from, the pedophilia type deal. They try to shy away from the grooming of children. Or usually they have what? They have an adverse, or I would say more so, they try to deflect when you ask them, well, when it comes to the act of homosexuality, is it allowed or disallowed within the Egyptians' religions? What's your moral code when it comes to that, right? But I digress. All right, let me bring in one more. Here's the last one, and then we'll just go over into Patreon. And again, I'd like to thank you all for being YouTube subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, brothers and sisters, make sure you go to the main page, subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell. It looks like a bell. Hit the notification bell, and then tell YouTube that you would like to be what? That you would like to be on the list of those. Somebody come on in. CLN, I'm still waiting for your audio. Make sure that you place on YouTube when you hit the notification that you would like to receive all notifications when we're live or upload new content. These are all the steps that you have to take, all right, in order to get our videos regularly, right? And then make sure you go to our main page to assure that YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you. Make sure you weren't unsubscribed. CLN, I'm going to give you 1 more minute, and then we're going to have to conclude this. CLN 333, because it looks as if your audio is trying, but nothing is happening here. Okay, I guess nothing with CLN. All right. The audio isn't working, CLN, and I have to go because we have to go into our Patreon. Right? We have to go into Patreon. Unfortunately, CLN, if you are a part of our Patreon memberships, then I can see you on the other side. Okay? I can see you on the other side. All right. All right. I had to remove CLN. Right? I seen the audio, the attempt for audio, but it didn't work. So, unfortunate. I'm sorry about that. But you have to make sure your audio is right in as you come in through Zoom. Here's one more. Chris Orr. Chris Orr, how are you? How are you, Chris? You're in a room with a lot of echo. Can you come closer to the microphone? Yeah.
Is this better, Elder?
Yes, that's better. How you doing, Chris?
Pretty good, Elder. I wanted to say, Elder, what I learned in the academy is that the city that it was a city that Joseph. I'm sorry, not that. Shoot, it was actually a city because I know you brought it.
Okay,
up,
brother, put your
where-
face in so we can see your face with the camera. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, how you doing, Chris?
Yeah, Elder. Because I know I asked about this a while ago, but it was actually the city that that I think it was that Joseph was in Egypt. It wasn't like the Pharaoh name.
Oh, you're
trying-
you're talking about the Ramesses theory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're talking about in particular what you learned, and we taught that in the academy, that when it said the city of Ramesses, it would have people believe that there was a city of Ramesses during the time of Joseph. But really, it was actually highlighting a what? An area that was named Ramesses later. It was more so geography than it was the name Ramesses. Right?
Yes, sir.
And the reason why that's so important is because Egyptologists, what they try to do is throw people off and say, how could there be a city of Ramesses during the time of Joseph when we know his dates is hundreds of years after Joseph, subsequent to Joseph going into Egypt. The Bible must be tampered with. When it wasn't speaking of the city of Ramesses, it was speaking of the location that the city of Ramesses would have been built in the future, right? So I'm glad you pointed that out because they try to throw people off and make you think the Bible is tampered with because look at city of Ramesses. Ramesses wasn't born until this time. So how was there a city of Ramesses during the time of Joseph? It is their misdirection to throw confusion on those who believe in the Bible. Another thing, from the Jewish side or the Jewry side, they keep touting this thing where Ramesses, the city of Ramesses, during the time that our people were in Egypt. So they try to use that to claim that Ramesses was the Pharaoh when he wasn't. And the reason why they would like you to believe that is because why? If you believe that Ramesses was the Pharaoh during the time of the Egyptians, then it falls into the point where, then guess what? There was no servitude that can be found historically under Ramesses. So it makes the whole story of Moses untrue by believing that Ramesses was the king during that time. And this is why they put Ramesses in all of your movies, 10 Commandments. They put Ramesses in what? The Prince of Egypt. So to have Christians and others who believe in the Bible to buy into that narrative But if you buy into that narrative, then when the historians come on the scene, they'll challenge your understanding of the book by saying, well, you believe Ramesses was the king, and there's no history of any people serving under Ramesses. So you and the Bible must be untrue, must be a lie. Right? So no, Ramesses was not the king. Right? It's speaking of the city of Ramesses, or the geography, the city of the buildings of Ramesses were built upon or built on. Right? Are you in this academy?
Oh yes. Oh, you already know. I'm an academite for life. I'm never not going to be in the academy.
Thank you.
And
Thank
Elder,
you.
I want to say this. That was so groundbreaking, because like when you talk to them, they try to use them methods. Even the point of what you just was talking earlier on about the bones of the bones of Joseph. Because the thing is that when I say to them, okay, well, do you know where your great-great-grandfather was buried? They try to say the bones were not, they have found no bones in there. It's like, we don't even know where our great-great-grandfather is buried at. So it's like, it's certain tactics they try to use to try to discredit the Bible. But these prophecies are kicking their butt, Elder. And all praises, I'm in the academy. Everybody get in the academy and the water, Elder.
Yeah. And a lot of these people, especially, you have to realize, Egyptologists are the most ridiculed, I would say, faction of religion on the earth when it comes to credibility. There's no one on the outside of America who respect this Egyptology that came up here in America. Even the Egyptians look at it and laugh at it and say, that's some stuff your people made up in jail. Okay?
Yes,
Listen,
sir.
the Egyptians, when you go to Egypt, they tell you that we're the children of Israel.
Right.
You go to Egypt, they tell you that the Bible's real. Listen, an Egyptian I never met when I was over in Egypt said, we know who you are. You Bani Yaqub. I'm like, Bani Yaqub? He says, yeah. And then I say, what do you mean Bani Yaqub? And it's a man named Sam who was escorting us around, helping us out initially when we went to Egypt. He says, of course, Rawchaa, he said that you're the sons of Jacob, but you know that already. Why? Because if our history isn't true concerning Israelites, then their history isn't true concerning them being the children of Hagar, who went into Egypt when Abram and Hagar and Sarah fell out. So if our history isn't true, then their history isn't. Right?
Yes, sir.
So that's why you look at the Egyptologists who are trying to prove the Bible wrong, don't realize if you discredit the Bible, you discredit world's history altogether. Right? Thank you,
Yes,
my
sir.
brother.
Thank you, the water, Elder.
You know what? I will continue this conversation on the other side. Thank you, my brother. Very, very, I wonder why I didn't do this a long time ago. Because the academy is so diverse with different topics. Sometimes I would like to know for myself, right? What exactly from the individual, what in these teachings stood out for you? Right? Because even though I've been in this for a long time, folks, there was a few things that stood out to me that made me inquire more. And it wasn't that, okay, we're the children of Israel. Right? That really wasn't a deep thing for me initially. It's, believe it or not, I would say being able to link up precepts and understand the Bible on a scholarly level was really, that's the thing that drew me in more so. That there were so many things in the Bible that isn't taught in church. I'm like, hold up. When I'm like, man, give me that book. That Bible don't say that. And I'm like, what? I'm like, y'all must be printing your own Bibles. That stood out for me more so than anything. And me being a history buff, right? Man, I love history in school. looking at the Bible, when I found out historically all the details historically that was in the Bible, it blew me away. The Bible is a calendar, it's a timeline, it's prophecy, it's history, it's archaeology. And it identifies all the families of the earth. And then on top of that, when I seen those slave ships, Deuteronomy 28. See, who I was really wasn't, who I am as an individual or we as a people didn't really resonate with me at first. I didn't care about that because I more so cared that all people get along or whatever the case is. You know what we taught in church. Who cares? I love God, I love Christ, I love learning, I love the Bible. But folks, when I seen Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, I said, there it is right there. Now I know why other people have treated us systematically for generations the way they treat us. It's right there. We're under a curse. And when it tell you in the New Testament, in the epistles, that cursed be the one who hanged from a tree. I'm like, man, when they hung us in the South, that was the curse. They hung our king in Jerusalem. That was a curse. He became a curse for us to free us from the curse. And that's when this Bible just opened up. Everything just opened up after that. I'm like, we are those people. And I don't care what they try to take from us. I don't care what they try to do to systematically knock us back. They cannot take our promise. They cannot take what's running through our brains, through our bloodstreams. That's right. They cannot take the genetics of the children of Israel. What you can't take away is an idea. When I seen Deuteronomy 28, game was over. I said, listen, with every ounce of my life going forward, I will proclaim this gospel to continue what Christ started in this earth in freeing our people. It's about freeing our minds, and we don't need a dime for that. Hey, it's right here. You can just open up the book. And folks, here's what's great about this. The Most High gave me an opportunity that most people seldom get. He gave me an opportunity to actually go into the old world to confirm what the Bible speaks about, so that no one can claim to me the Bible is tampered with. Folks, the burial grounds, a lot of things that the Bible speaks of is in the same location the Bible said it would happen. The Bible said it happened historically. See, you can lie to people in America, but you can't lie to people who went over there to see it. Folks, I visited an island where it's a historically preserved place where Paul was chastised and whipped for the gospel. They still have the place, the rack he was tied to. How can you tell me the Bible isn't real? And that the missions of Paul and the disciples never happened. When I can show you the place that's been set aside and preserved to prove it happened. In Ayia Napa, Cyprus. In Ayia Napa is where Zepho, Esau's grandson, is buried right now. And he's amongst the what? He's amongst the pantheon of kings of the of Greece. But a lot of you may think he's a Grecian. But he went into Cyprus. And his name is Zepho. After he died, the Cypriots and others placed him amongst the pantheon of the gods they worship. Janus, Jannes. They made him a god to be worshiped amongst the Greek Orthodox Church. See, you can't tell me about anything when I've seen things with my own eyes. All right? But I digress. If you've been in the academy, you know about this. There's much more to experience this coming Sunday, the Promised Seed. I hope to see you there. My Patreonies, I'm coming over now. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, the sun is coming in. And we're gonna continue this conversation on the other side amongst the Patreonies. Shalom. Go to Patreon.com/agathering144. Let's talk. Let's talk, all right? Shalom. And you all have a blessed Sabbath, okay?